Okay, guys, so I finally went out and did my thing on Brew, Zensphere, all the other blah 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 blah. The official conclusion I can draw. Well, I'll do Zensphere first because it was just generically bad. In the event Chiwave is bugging, which is the only event that really matters, I would take what's it called, Chi Burst in a heartbeat. Zensphere actually did nothing. It was all fun to watch it do damage, like if you use Storm Earth and Fire with it. It was nifty, but like healing wise, it was like a fourth total healing of what Chiwave does on the same, well, roughly the same cooldown. It's slightly shorter cooldown, but its duration takes longer. Like it lasts for 18 seconds, so that it for it to actually explode, it requires longer duration between the actual major heal of it and the Chiwave cooldown. And Chiwave also just overall heals more. As for Chi Burst, I can't get over the cast time, and it still heals for less. So Chiwave's just the best. If it bugs out, take Burst. That's all there really is to it. Uh, it sucked beyond all recognition. The only I heard might be a little bit different for healer monks because it might have like scaling or something, but I'm pretty sure the way Gizmo said was in RBGs when there's a shit ton of overhealing going on and it's just to casually top people. Chiwave just sometimes doesn't do anything, and you can use it to top people or casually heal people up and use your real heals on someone else. So maybe if you're doing RBGs as a Mistweaver monk, Zensphere might be useful, but that's about it. As for Chi Brew, as you can see, I'm using it here. It's a slight test, so all these 2's games are a little bit harder than they should be because I'm still playing with Russian Jade Wind, which I probably shouldn't be if you're playing Chi Brew currently. I'm roughly full haste right now, so obviously, there's, well, last patch, it went crit mastery haste, just without a doubt. That was the only argument. This is the only way you do it. This patch, it's switched, so my gear is, if there was a crit mastery piece, I bought it in a heartbeat. If there was a crit haste, I don't have it. So there's a few discrepancies in my gear, so I'll definitely go up. But for the most part, you really don't want to stack Rushing Jade Wind and Chibru. You can get away with it, but I feel like you're kind of diminishing the value of Rushing Jade Wind unless you get really good with it. I haven't done the actual math on it, and I'm sure someone could do it. And with PvP, all the math is just entirely theoretical. It's not actually 100% true. But for the most part, that's how it's going to play out. It's until you're full geared, at least, I wouldn't recommend doing this. Especially if you're asking what's better instead of testing it for yourself. If you test it for yourself and decide that you like it, test it on your own. If you're going to test it, ignore everything I say pretty much. You can listen to my opinion, but you need to decide for yourself whether or not you really think it's worth it because you are energy starved a lot. It does kind of help with getting stacks and being able to use them. If you can manage using Chibru correctly, I don't. I'm really bad at it. Same with Rushing Jade Wind. It's one of those things where it just takes practice to know. So, if you think you're completely fine with it and aren't noticing any issues whatsoever with being energy starved, by all means, play it. I'm pretty sure it'll do more damage. But I'm not good enough or have enough practice to do it yet, so, it's tricky. Later on in gear, which I know everyone's talking about this, and it's because you probably get a massive amount of PvP powers while you're talking about gear. I'm talking about it from a pure static haste level, just the amount of energy regen you will go up whether or not you want to, just by upgrading your gear. Even if you don't want any haste whatsoever and feel that I'm an idiot and mastery is better in every way, shape, and form, you can. That's your opinion. It's fine. I'm not saying I'm 100% correct on this. You will still go up haste regardless of how much you don't want it or whatever. It's just how it is. Gear goes up, you will end up with haste that you can't reforge away from. So as the gear goes up, it is, I'll say, 100% possible that you don't need to reforge to any haste whatsoever if you start gearing towards haste a little bit. And that you'll play Rushing Jade Wind pretty much every time, unless it's going to ruin a comp. And even then, I feel like just being intelligent and canceling it is not that hard. And it's still worth it. Other than that, if you want to play with Chibru, I'll give you a fair warning. It's hard. It's hard to use correctly. Like, I go over to someone with 4 energy, trying to set up my swap, which ends up wasting energy, and I could hold GCD or hold Rising Sun Kick cooldown and Blackout Kicks for the start. But I usually end up doing something like this. Oh, I'm going to go on the Druid. I prep my spinning, Rushing Jade Wind, Chiwave. I have all the preparation for it. Paralyze, go over, stun, have 4 Chi, Rising Sun Kick, use my Chi Brew, and then pop my Tiger's Eye Brew, and I'm like, yo, I didn't have 60% increased damage on that Rising Sun Kick. This is not a good situation to be in. And it actually, I think I just did it. I'm not 100% sure, but I legitimately think I just did it. So, whatever you do, don't give up that. It is not worth it at all to give up your stacks on your Rising Sun Kick. And that's not a reason for me to judge saying the ability's worse or better, but for me, every time that happens, I'm just like, wow, this ability sucks, why am I using it? And it's my own fault. So, that also takes some getting used to. But once you get used to it, I think Cheaper's really good at catching people off guard, is the best way to describe it, I think. Most people get used to the, like, kind of linear path of monks. Jab, Rising Sun Kick, jab, blackout kick, jab, blackout kick. You know, maybe you get 2. No one's really used to seeing, like, you pop stacks. You say you have, like, 10 stacks or something. You pop your stacks, you stun them. You have Rushing Jade Wind up. Rising Sun Kick, blackout kick, Chi Brew. Blackout kick, and that stun. And it's just like, whoa. That monk is actually, like, about to solo me. I think it catches people off guard a lot. For the people who, like, have seen monks a lot, they're just like, hold on. I haven't seen another monk do that. And it's also, it's a 1.5 minute cooldown, theoretically. You gain a sort of second DPS cooldown. That's 32k. That's how we win this game. I'm going to cut it soon. Just because you don't need to see the next 9 minutes. Actually, I think they leave at some point in this game. I don't remember, but I should be cutting at any time. Because that's the 32k hit. So that's my opinion on Chi Brew. I hope I explained it well enough. Definitely, if you're debating it, play it for yourself and go off your own opinion. If you want to go just off my opinion, don't use Rushing Jade Wind with it if you want to play with it. You can still keep haste if you want. I still think haste is really good even if you're not energy starved the whole time. It just depends on how much uptime you get. The nice thing about Rushing Jade Wind is in the event that you get a lot of uptime, it helps. Or it's still good. I suppose it doesn't necessarily help. If you have a lot of uptime, it's still good. And if you have no uptime, you don't energy cap and can preemptively pop it for damage. I'm trying to think what else. Okay, I'll just talk a little bit about 2's in general because that's what I'm doing. It's a little bit calmer in 2's now. Just that's why I'm using it for examples like this. You can kind of see it much clearer than in 3's where there's so much going on. One point in this, I get really pissed off. It's actually pretty funny. I keep treating this, I keep playing really dumb against Binding Shot. I keep treating it like it's Puck ulti in Dota, but it's not. The stun is 2 seconds, or whatever it is. I need to just run through it because it sits on the ground for like 8. I should just instantly get myself stunned if I can afford it and go. There's no reason to just sit in the middle of it, even if I do recognize it. And I keep doing it a lot because it's always fun to do. I'm just like, hey, nice Binding Shot. I'm not going to do anything. And then at one point in this game, he gets like a laggy Binding Shot. And wow, that was a sick trap apparently. He gets like a laggy Binding Shot, and I move closer to the inside of it so that I could hit him and not get stunned by the Binding Shot. And it stuns me because I moved, which is really weird. Just one of those things. WoW is not a game for mechanics like that, so it's just, it doesn't fit. Anyway, that aside, next week, weapons come out for most people, or for high-rated-ish people. So it should be interesting to see what happens. I am an idiot and spent my conquest points, so I can only buy my main hand, not my offhand next week. I think the main hand's going to matter the most, without a doubt, but yeah, I'll be missing some PvP power. But I'll have it the week after that. I don't think it'll be a huge deal. I think the game will still be pretty slowly paced, because you get a ton off every single piece of gear. It's not just the weapons. So that should be interesting to see how that shapes up, but in general, I'll just talk about 2's in their current state. They are very slow. The crouches you buff people, honestly, I don't know if 2's are necessarily as slow as they are. I kind of feel like it is. In some of these games, like Karma, at 250k health just because I feel like it. I'm like, he won't have another burst attempt to bring me below that by the time Karma's back up, or by the time Fortifying Brew's back up, or by the time a Trinket's back up, or have the CC so my healer can do something, things like that. It's just like, he's not going to do anything. He can't do anything. So, it's sort of interesting in some of these games. I don't know if I might have been on a stream where I did that, where I just didn't drop below 250k health. I was just like, I don't feel like it. So, it's sort of, I feel like half of it's just because people play that way. They just decided, you know what? Screw it. Why would I play for real when I could win without trying? Especially given that a lot of times, you know, if I go full Swifty and set up everything perfectly, I'm not guaranteed a kill. No matter how perfectly we do it, I'm not guaranteed a kill. I'm not even guaranteed to necessarily get close to a kill. So it's just sort of like, I try to kill someone in the opener, do it with close to perfect setup, usually use it to get lower, get all their cooldowns, and have the next one be what the full kill attempt is. And then I play it safe for a lot of the 2's game, but I'll still try, you know. I'll go in for a kill when I have 10 stacks, but I'm not going to go in for a kill when I have 8 stacks because I need pressure. I won't feel bad if I use my stacks to defensively heal myself. I'm just going to do it. If I need to Karma at 200k health just because I can and they're not going to have the burst for it, go for it. I feel like the mindset is almost doing it equally as much as the buff. Not equally. I'd say it's like 70-30, but I feel like the mindset of it is a significant factor of people not overextending and actually killing someone. Older 2's, people would take the risk. They'd be like, yo, this guy has to die now or we lose. Or we'll time out type deal. And everyone went for the overextension. Now it's just like, oh, well, we're just going to win in a minute. Screw it. So I feel like half of that's just mindset. Other than that, I feel like in 3's, I have played 3's. I haven't uploaded them recently. I'll get to it. I should get back to an almost daily video schedule-ish soon. Number one issue I have with monks right now is you just get annihilated in the opener. Not like dying. It's not even me. It's usually my teammate. I just feel like it takes me so long to get up stacks in the opener given the amount of CC that people just casually throw out and I get hit with, like random ass binding shots or random pre-spheres or random siphons or whatever it happens to be. Disorienting roar, a ring, a nova, a disengage root. Just literally accidentally CCing the monk to the point to where I won't have pressure for the first 2 burst attempts. I might have 10 stacks to match their second gargoyle if I'm fighting a DK. And it's just like, really? You're just almost always behind on pressure. Sure, there's some comps that'll do better, like Warlock, Monk, Shaman or something, where the Warlock can actually blow a Demon Soul to keep you offensive so that you can get stacks, and then the second Demon Soul is your actual kill attempt, things like that. But it just feels like, even at that state, obviously, the people with more opportunities are going to be significantly scarier. But even at that state, it feels like it's not so much who plays better, who does the fancy CC chains, all the nifty things you can actually do. It's who has the blanket counter spell, or the 4-second paralysis, or the shockwave or stormbolt when you both crit. It just feels like you need the luck at the correct time, and that sometimes, I would say more than sometimes, a lot of times decides a winner. There are obviously things that will change that, but, you know, seeing the possibility of that being when you die and recognizing it is a relatively skillful thing. But I feel like beyond a certain point, it doesn't really matter. And then I'll put it on in other terms for you. I actually think I killed this guy here. It might be the end of the video. I'm not sure. In other terms, I'll use melee as an example. Last season, why would you play with a warrior or a rogue? Well, last patch last season type deal. Why would you... There's the binding shot that stunned me. Why would you play with a warrior or a rogue when you could play with a pharaoh druid? This season is why would you play with a monk or whatever when you could just play with a warrior? There's no reason to. You could just simply do better. Sure, I can do a lot of things. I could probably get as high rated as a lot of warriors if I really tried things like that. Probably not a WLS, but just there's no point. It's just easier. Like, you could do all sorts of cool things with a monk. But why would you do it instead of a warrior? Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. That's it for now.